Hey, it's actually Brunch with Brian. Today, you're home investing live stream, and today it's actually National Workaholics Day. So I'm going to talk about being a workaholic. I have some experience in this area. There's three reasons why people are workaholics. So let's break this down. If you think that you're in danger of being a workaholic, or if you've ever thought about that, or if you've got workaholics in your life and you want to try to understand them better, let's talk about that since it's National Workaholics Day. And this can actually be an adaptive trait to be a hard worker. You know, we all admire a person who's a hard worker. You know, we look at an Olympic athlete as a good example of that. Someone who really worked hard and, woke up early and went down to the gym or the ice skating rink or wherever and practiced and then performed in the key moments. And so now for us, why do we work hard? Why do we devote ourselves? Now, in that case, it's someone who has a goal in mind. Now, here's the three reasons why sometimes people are workaholics. Okay, number one, they need the money. Okay, that's sometimes, people get in a job and they take all the overtime and they work a lot of hours and they actually need to earn the money. They need to make the money to pay for their lifestyle. And so it's not really a choice thing. They have to put in that kind of hours in order to fund their lifestyle. Okay, so it's basically a funding your lifestyle thing. Number two, people sometimes will work really hard like that and this is a little bit more nebulous concept, but for career advancement / praise and, feeling like getting approval. Okay, now people, you look at this and, how much do people strive for approval? Some people are very approval based and some people don't seem to care what anyone thinks. And so, the best balance is somewhere in the middle. If you care what everybody thinks, you'll go nuts. And there was a really good song, Garden Party, where it's a big long story with Ozzy and Harriet and Ricky Nelson. He wrote this song and he says, you can't please everyone. This is a line in the song. You can't please everyone, so you gotta please yourself. Because he went and did a big show at Madison Square Garden, Ricky Nelson, after he was a little bit older. And he didn't play all the old standards and didn't make the crowd real happy. So that's where he actually came up with the song Garden Party. So if you didn't know that, it's a little musical history. But I like that line. You can't please everybody, you got to please yourself. So you got to figure out what you want in your life and what makes you happy. And that should override other people's considerations or what other people think. So that's a second, career advancement and approval and praise and peer approval. That's kind of it can be peer approval, but a lot of times there's a mother-father issue in there. We all have some mother-father issues just growing up. You can't avoid that. And then when your parents die, it doesn't mean the issues are gone either. So look at this approval area in your life and try to see if you're working too hard, and out of balance, because that's the whole thing. When you think about a workaholic, that's someone who works too hard and their life is out of balance, because you want work and play, work and happiness, Now, that gets me to the third reason, and I'll tell you, sometimes people really love their work, and so they would rather be working than other things. So people will look at them and say, well, you're a workaholic. Now, what's the answer to this one? I've got answers to all these. Now, the number one answer, let's get to these in a second, but number three is if you love what you do and you can sometimes do it too much. Like if you have a family life and then you love your job and you're working 60 hours a week because you love it and you're always on the computer, and even when you're at home you're in the home office working all the time. And sometimes people get like that with real estate. Once they get their real estate really figured out and get going, they love it so much it can get to be almost too much. So that's where you have to balance it out with compartmentalization. And so I want you to think about compartmentalization, knowing when you should be working. That's a trick. Because when you start doing real estate, you're basically self-employed. You can work anytime almost, almost basically you can make phone calls and you can do research on properties and go on the computer at pretty much any time. So it's not like a rigid work schedule. So sometimes you have to just be able to compartmentalize and make a schedule. That's how you compartmentalize. And when and as long as you put in your hours, you're roughly 10 hours a week, or up to at least 5 hours a week, up to 10 hours a week, depending on what level you are in this, and maybe more eventually. That if it's written down on a schedule and you're following your schedule, then you don't have to worry about real estate during other times. And I want you to compartmentalize it and not focus on it during those other times, and have your happiness and have your balance. Okay, so that's some of the reasons that people are workaholics. Number one, they just need the money. So what's the solution to that? Is start making a lot of money doing something else. And especially if you're a workaholic and at a job you don't like, and you're just working just for the dollars. You're just trading hours for dollars. That's what we want to get. That's the whole point of following us and learning how to do real estate and building up a buy and hold portfolio, which is what we love and what we love to teach our students. Okay, number two, it's for approval, for career advancement / approval. So just look at your reasons for doing that. And there's legitimate reasons. You're helping people. That's your most legitimate reason for career advancement. If you're helping a lot more people because your career is advancing, then great. Career advancement is awesome. But career advancement can be and it can be wrapped up in this whole approval merry-go-round that you never quite get. So your boss is never going to say good job to the point where you really think, where you really feel it. There's a lot of bosses that are like parents that are very withholding, and you're constantly trying to get their approval. And so you get on this treadmill. And so be careful with that because career advancement can be actually code word for trying to get your boss's approval all the time, which you'll never get. And then you're just replaying roles that you learned in childhood from your mom and dad. So be careful with that. Hopefully you have a great boss who's very loving and supportive and gives you the approval that you need so that you don't have to work so hard for it, okay, to be a workaholic, to get it, okay? And then number three, like I said, sometimes you just love your job. And that's a good thing, but that you compartmentalize to make sure it doesn't get out of balance. And then the fourth reason that people are workaholics they have that Protestant work ethic. They just feel guilty when they're not working. And I have to admit, I have some of this. I grew up Catholic. My dad was a hard worker. And, pretty much just sitting around relaxing, what's that all about? I should be working on my car or fixing something around the house or doing some more work from work, bring work home. So I do have that, and and that's another compartmentalization issue. Try to compartmentalize your fun times and your happy family times. So that's the reasons, the 4 reasons that you may be a workaholic. And so let's cure those. Number 1, you need the money. Let's get you going with real estate so you don't need the money so bad. Number 2, you're chasing your boss's approval and career advancement. Look carefully at that. Make sure it's about helping other people and not just about getting pats on the head because of some old roles that you're replaying from childhood. Okay, number 3, you love the work, okay? And so that's okay. It's great to love your work. I love the fact if you love your work, and you get to love real estate. Once you get good at it, even if in the beginning it's kind of scary and anxious and it creates some anxiety, once you get good at it, you do come to love it. So that compartmentalization with a schedule will help keep you on track there and in balance. And then the last reason is you're just you have that work ethic, that Protestant work ethic like me. And so if that's the case, again, compartmentalization and following a schedule are the best ways to keep your life in balance. Okay, so I am going, workaholics, all you other workaholics out there, let's say, I'm going to live my life in balance. That's our affirmation for today. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to live my life in balance. I'm living my life in balance. Yes, good job. Okay, let's do our deep breathing. Nice deep breath in. That feels good. 1, 2 more. Deep breath in. I'm trying to make it under 10. 1 more deep breath in. Great. Great to see you. Have an awesome Tuesday. Keep expecting success, getting awesome training, and taking action as always. We will see you on Thursday morning.